I'm just gonna preface this video by saying that it is 2024. I live in Southern California. If you throw your vape 5 feet in any which direction, you will hit somebody sleeping in their car. Okay? So let's just get that out there. Okay? With the amount of people that are homeless in this day and age, this location, this area, it's like chances are you've probably hooked up with a homeless person. And in fact, you know what? You want to really get into it? Let's really get into it, bruh. What about that boyfriend of yours? The one that's bumming off of you, living with you, who doesn't have an apartment, okay? If you broke up with him, if you dumped him, where's he gonna go? Sleep on a friend's couch? He's homeless too, okay? Your partner is also homeless, so don't be judging me. Don't be judging me. These are people at the end of the day. But, anyways, let's get into the story. Last Tuesday, I saw this coupon on the Domino's app that said you can buy any topping medium pizzas for $11 each. So I was like, that's a bargain. I did it. I bought two pizzas and then I picked them up and I ate one entire pizza. Then I went to the beach. And then I started just walking around the beach because I felt really, really, really fat from eating an entire pizza by myself. So I walk around, I go up and down the shoreline, then I go on the pier, I go up and down to the end of the pier, I go back, and then I decide to go back to my car. I walk through the train station, and at the rails, it's like 10:30. So all of the trains they're like done for the day. Like the next train isn't until like 4 a.m. the next day, I think maybe 5. So I see this guy who's like he has his like luggage next to him. He's like at the rail, at the Metrolink rail, like to like head up to LA. And he's like his phone is ringing and then he's trying to answer, but then he's really frustrated. So all I hear is like a phone ringing and a dude that's like frustrated. Like he's audibly frustrated. So I walk under the rail, I go under the tunnel, I go up, and then there's like it's there he's on one bench, and then there's another bench right next to him. So I sit down on the bench next to him. I'm like, hey, is it cool if I sit here? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. So then I just start hitting my vape. I'm just sitting on that bench, hitting my vape, listening to him like have his frustration with his girlfriend on the phone. And then he like finally hangs up. Um and then he like turns to me and he's like, "Yo, bro, is that a vape?" And then I was like, it's a weed pen. It's not like a vape. Like a 'cause usually when people ask, "Is that a vape?" They're asking like if it's nicotine, not THC. The only vapes that I carry are THC. I don't carry any nicotine vapes. So I tell him I'm like, no, it's just THC. It's not a vape. And he's like, oh. I'm like, do you want to hit it anyways? And he's like, yeah, can I? So he like hits it. And so I get a good look at this man. He's like he looks like a middle-aged white dude. He looked like a Marine. Like I'm gonna be very honest. He looked like a middle-aged like Marine, like former Marine white dude. Maybe he's like a surfer now, maybe he's like a contractor. I don't know. But like, it's like it was spring break, so I wasn't questioning why this like middle-aged white man was on the rails. He had this app. So he was messaging, I think he was being catfished. He was messaging this one lady with the name Sandra Bullock, and she was like, he was trying to FaceTime her, but the calls wouldn't go through. And then like he'd answer, but it wouldn't be what he thought he was gonna be looking at. So I don't know. That was a whole thing that he was going through. So I just start talking. I tell him I'm like, yeah, I just bought two pizzas and I ate a whole pizza, and I just got the other one sitting in the car. And he's like, bro, you got pizza? And I was like, yeah, you want some? He was like, yeah. So up until this point, I thought this was just like a white dude that had missed the train. Literally, not even lying. I thought this was just a guy that missed the train. I thought this is a man who's trying to go up to LA. So we stand up to like go to my car, and he's like rolling his bag, but like his bag is like the wheels aren't turning, so he's dragging his bag. And then so we're like halfway through the tunnel and we're about to go up the stairs and I'm like, "You want me to help you with that?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So then I go to like grab it and the handle's broken as well. It's missing one wheel. One of the wheels is like really like burnt up, but it's like a nice, like solid, sturdy bag. Like the bag is in good condition, but the wheels and the handle are in like just shit condition. Which is like, if you do a lot of traveling, then sometimes luggage will get fucked up like that. But like the luggage, the actual like like the luggage itself, the bag itself was like really nice condition. So I just pick it up and I walk to the car. I leave it outside and then we like sit inside in the front seat and he's just eating the pizza, munching, munching, munching. And at this point, I kind of we start talking and he starts to share with me that he's connected to angels. Angels are connected to him. He has a direct connection to these voices or something like that. So at this point, I'm like, he's homeless. Like, okay, he's homeless. This is a homeless dude. Like, this is not. Maybe he's a former Marine. I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. Actually, it turns out he is. He is a former. I don't know if he was Marine or Navy or like air. I forget what he was, but he was like he was an armed. He was in the armed forces or whatever. Like in the uniformed. He fought for our country. He was enlisted in something. And inside the car, I'm just gonna say this now because like later in the night it it like clicked for me. This entire night, let me just say, can make a movie someday down the road. Like I have seen movies that revolve around nights, like this Tuesday that I had last week. So in the car at one point, like we're just chatting about our philosophies, and I'm like, my philosophy growing up was always try everything twice. Cause the first time you don't know if you liked it the first time. You might have like, like maybe you're doing something wrong. Try it the second time. And then if you still don't like it, then now you know. You know for a fact. And he started laughing. He started laughing, laughing, laughing. And he was like, and after that, after I had shared that, is when he started to share with me that he was connected to angels and that he can hear voices and that he can hear thoughts, he can read thoughts and all this other jazz. So at a certain point, he's just thanking me. He's like, "Thank you for this pizza, man. Like, something about this pizza is just nourishing my body. Like, it is just hitting hard." He did not look emaciated, mind you. He looked like he had just like left like base. Like, he was a very fit man. Like, he had a very nice body, but he was starving. He was very hungry. So he like ate half the pizza. He was like, "Damn, I wish I could like just do some laundry." He's like, I don't have any cash on me. Like, it's like it's only $2.50 to like do a load, but I don't have any cash on me. And I was like, well, I mean, I meant like you can do like I have a washer dryer in my garage. Like you can do your laundry there. And he was like, oh my God, yes. He was like so grateful. He was like so grateful. Like a really good man, like a really nice man. And so we come back to my house and he goes directly to the washer dryer where like he starts just putting a load into the wash. He throws everything into the wash. He's like taking things apart, putting shit. He's like, this is trash, this is trash, this is trash, this is trash. I don't know why homeless people carry around so much trash. But he was carrying around a bunch of trash and he took this opportunity to throw away the trash. And he's like putting his load in. While he's putting his load in, I run upstairs and I grab a bathrobe and I'm like, here, you can use this so that you can wash everything that you're wearing as well. And he's like, all right. So puts everything in the wash, puts on the bathrobe, and then we go upstairs. I'm sitting on my chair, and he's sitting on my couch. Throughout us like sitting upstairs, like talking to each other, he would talk to me. He would speak to me like in a full volume, like regular voice, and then he would like mumble to himself. He would like quietly mumble to himself, and that was him. He was talking to himself, but that was him like talking to his angels. And so he shares with me there was so much like I'm telling you like I could write like I could make a movie out of this night. So he shares with me these stories, a bunch of stories from his childhood. So actually no, we get upstairs and then like almost immediately he just turns to me and he's like, "So how long have you been gay? Have you always been gay?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I'm like, "Was it obvious? Like, was it really that obvious?" And he was like, "No, it wasn't obvious, but like once we sat down, there were a couple of there's some stuff inside my room that's like obvious, like I'm gay." So he's like that, like he's like pointing. He's like, "Well, that like he's like I can tell that you're gay now." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gay." But so we go upstairs and he's like, "How long have you been gay?" And then I share with him my story, my childhood. I share with him my history, my upbringing, how I came to be who I am now at this day and age, and then my experiences and everything. And so then he starts to share with me his experiences. The first experience that he shares with me is when he was like a very young boy. There was an older man in his family that was wearing like really, really short shorts and called him into the room. And so then he like goes into the room and this man, this like old man has like his dick out, like out from like under like the short leg, like the leg of the shorts. And so then like he just a little boy like sees this and he like turns away and like walks away. He like knew it was wrong or whatever, but like he never said anything. He never like did whatever, but like it like stuck with him. Like it stuck with him because I didn't know that it was like through short shorts. He just told me that some old man had exposed him when he was a child. And so at some point in the night he wanted to go buy a vape and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go get you a vape, whatever. Let's go get one." So he's like, "Do you have any shorts?" Because his clothes weren't ready yet. So then I bring out like the smallest pair because he was like, I'm not a small, muscular, fit man, but he was. So like I brought out the only pair of shorts that would fit him that I have, which is like really small pair of shorts. And he flipped out when he saw them. He was like, "No!" He like flipped out. And that's when he shared with me that it like that's what like had happened. Like the an older man had like just like stuck his like dick out through like the side of the shorts or whatever. He was like, "So like these aren't shorts," and it's like people that wear these know what they're doing, and it's like they shouldn't be wearing these, blah blah blah. And then I was like, "Listen, those are just that's the smallest pair of shorts that I own. Like we are not the same size, okay? Like that's the only thing that I own that would have fit you. So it's like don't think that I'm out there wearing those like doing that stuff either. Period." So he's like, "Okay." He shared with me another story where he was like, he kept saying, he's like, "I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay." He would like tell me, he's like, "I'm not gay, I'm not gay," you know that? But like also then under his breath, he would be saying stuff like, "Well, you're here already, you know, like you're here. Just like, what's in the past is in the past, and what's in the future is in the future. Like you're here, just like, just live, man, just live." He's like talking himself into the night. He's like, he's having thoughts. So, at a certain point, he shares with me like a old story of his. He's like, "I'm not gay, but when I was younger, I did like I was really really lit with a friend of mine when he would like first when he had like first enlisted. He was like, we were so lit, we were really really lit, we were so lit, and like they fucked around with each other." And I was like, "Ooh, spicy, saucy, spicy, saucy." Anyways, nice. I love it. Love it. Love it. I love it. When he shared that story unprompted, I didn't tell him. He honestly, he was just giving me these stories. He would just start talking. And I would just be there sitting listening, being like, "Ah, you don't say." Just listening. Just listening. So at a certain point, he goes through his bag and he like pulls out a clipper, like hair clipper, like a trimmer, and he's like, "I gotta go trim." So he was like, "Yeah, no, I gotta shave, I gotta trim." And then I was like, "What?" He was like, Can I go use your bathroom to trim up?" And then I was like, "Just do it right here. You can do it right here. It's fine. I'm gonna vacuum anyways." And then he was like, and then he starts like laughing, and then he starts like talking to himself again, like talking himself into it. Oh. So then he says, "Fuck it." So then he stands up, he like opens the robe, and he's hard. Like he's standing, like he's like solid. And then he just starts like doing it. He's like pulls himself aside, he starts like trimming up. He's like this and he's talking to me as he's doing it. He's like, "This is how I do it. This is how I do it." He like lifts his head, he's just like, "This is how I do it. I do this like this. I pull this over here and I do this 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 and this is how I do it and this is what I do." And then he finished. And the whole time I'm just like watching, like The whole time I'm just watching, in like thrilled, enthralled. I'm like, wow, like I did not, I haven't made a move on this man at all. Like the move that I made was the moves that I made throughout that night up to that point to like get him to like stand up in front of me rock hard and like show me how he trims was I sat down next to him. I offered him my vape. I offered him my food, and then I offered that he could do some laundry. But like the conversations and everything that like went gay and all that, he brought them up. He was the one that was bringing up, and I was just like, yeah, I would just answer his questions. I'd be like, yeah, 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 I've done that. No, I'm not into that. Yeah, I'm really good at that. Yeah, I do that. So at a certain point in the night, he he just like he starts sharing with me like his current situation or his like former situation. I don't know if it's former. He was describing it in a way that like implies that like it's his former situation, but also like after like learning being with him and like learning him and all that, I feel like he's not the type that's gonna walk away from it. So he's just sharing me his like toxic situationship, and his girlfriend is she's a prostitute, and he's just sharing me these stories. He's just sharing these crazy stories that are just like fucking heartbreaking. He's crying too. Like this whole time he's crying, just sobbing. And I'm like, "Ooh, like y'all gotta not be y'all gotta not be together." And he's like, we're over, we're done. After this last time, he's like, we're done. Like, so I guess he was working, so he'll take random like jobs or whatever. And so he gave her $2,000, and then he gave her $2,000, and then she kicked him out of her car, and then he was like, can I at least have like $10 to like $10, give him $10. And then she was like, no. So she kicks him out of her car at the transit center, and like she ran off with the $2,000 that he had like given to her. And then he wasn't he she stopped answering his calls and all that. And so that's why he was at the train center that night. That's why he was at the train station that night. But like he had shared me like other stories prior to that of like while she was working, like her working stories. Cause like I guess she would work like in the room right next to him sometimes. And he was like crying. He was like, you don't do that to someone that you love and all that jazz. He was like, I understand you gotta make money, but like you don't do it like that, and you don't do it to someone that you love like that. And he was just sobbing, and he was like, but it's over, like I'm done with that. Like he's like, you're helping me see that like this is healing me. He's like, he'd be talking to his angels, talking about how he's healing himself and all that, how like he needed this, like how like that night, as he's finally cleaning his clothes, he's able to like throw away all this other stuff. He's like, I finally feel like I'm cleaning. He also showered. He was like, I finally feel like I actually feel like I can relax, like I can breathe, like I'm clean, like I feel like I needed this moment where I can finally breathe and I can let go of that. And honestly, I felt very hopeful when he was sharing with me that whole thing. I felt very hopeful for him because like it honestly felt like he had made some progress within himself or something like that. But so then at a certain point in the night, we're just chilling, and he's like, listen, he's like, it's like he was mumbling to himself a lot, and then he's like, the second I got into your car, I knew something was gonna happen. And then I was like, what? And then he's like, he mumble, and then he's like, you're gonna suck my dick, and I'm gonna suck your dick, and it's gonna happen tonight. You're gonna suck my dick, I'm gonna suck your dick, and it's gonna happen. And so then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you want it to happen right now, or when do you want to have? Do you want it to happen right now? And he's like, he stands up, he takes off the robe, he's like hard, and he's like, suck my dick. So then I go, and I suck his dick, and he starts losing it. Like he really starts losing it. Like he's losing it. And so then I stand up, and like he starts sucking my dick, and he's fine. It's whatever. I push him back, and then I go back to it. I start sucking his dick again, and he goes wild. Like I have had guys go wild before, like truly like be vocal, like and like I've had like people like spasm out and all that. Like I've had like some people like react to like my head. And so like I'm not surprised or whatever that he would react the way he reacted, but it was something about the fact that like usually when I'm given head, it's like I'm in charge. Like I'm setting it up. I'm telling them come over here or meet me over here, and it's gonna happen like this. Like get over here now, kind of thing. Like I'm usually in charge. But in this situation, literally, I went into it being like I went into the night being like, this is a straight man. This is a straight homeless man who needs like who needs some help right now. So like that was literally my way into the night. And so then I'm just sitting there the entire night just nodding and like agreeing and listening to him. And like he's going through all these things in his head. Through all these things in his head. He's having journeys in his head. And I'm just sitting there like letting him have his journeys. And it led to him like telling me to like suck his dick. So then I do, I'm like doing it, and he's going wild. He's like pushing me away, but then pulling me back, and then like being like, like really losing it. And then like it ends and everything. So then we're like downstairs, and like he's like putting his clothes into the dryer. We had to split up the load because like it was too much for the dryer. So he's like taking out the first load of the dryer and like putting the next load in. And I'm sitting there with him, and then I just tell him, I'm like, listen, like just because you enjoyed the like me like giving you head and all that doesn't make you gay. Like, let me tell you right now, like guys don't give head the way that I do. Like that doesn't mean that you like getting your dick sucked by guys. It just means that you like getting your dick sucked by me. Um Because, like, honestly, let's be real. Like, I am a person who goes around and gets his dick sucked by guys. And I can tell you right now that I have never reacted the way that some guys react to my head. So I can just tell you right now that, like, not all guys give good head. I've only ever had one person give me good head. And I didn't want to go back to him because it was an older white man. And, like, it was the situation where, like, you feel good, but, like, you don't look good. And I reached a point years ago when I was like 20, when I was like 22, I think I came to like this like when I was 22, I feel like I finally came into myself, and I asserted within myself that it's like I'm only gonna like hook up with people that I am visually attracted to. Like I need to like visually be able to look at you and like it. Otherwise, I'm not even gonna bother trying with it. So that's why, like, I never ended up speaking with that person again. But yeah, like this dude, like we're like talking, and I'm like, listen, like it doesn't mean that you're gay or whatever. It just means that I give great head. And he laughs, and then he says, listen, I just went to hell and back. And then he starts like having this whole conversation about like how like I helped him like come to like realization. I helped him like release this I helped him like I don't know, get over the roadblock. Get like I don't know. He was like there was a block, I don't know. He was like it was just he was like I was at this block, like I was at a wall, I was at a dead end, and it's like suddenly like I'm in a field when like there's not like the way that I see it is that he was in a valley, he was in a hole somewhere, he was in a ditch. And it's like I was able to like help him like pluck himself out of that hole, out of that ditch, and like go into like a wide open valley where like he can see for miles. He's like, "Oh wow." So it's like my life doesn't have to be this immediate, like what's immediately here, what's immediately here. This isn't my life. Like that's not what I'm confined to. Like the world is open. There's so much possibility in the world. Who the fuck knows where you're gonna go in the world? Like in the drop of a hat, like your night can change. It can be like your life can switch from like good to bad in the blink of an eye. Your life can switch from bad to good in the blink of an eye. It's crazy. like the potential that the universe holds. And it's like you don't know where you're gonna go, you don't know where you're gonna end up. You might be on the street. I might end up on the street someday and be like the story time of some YouTuber talking about how he hooked up with me. You know? You never know where you're gonna end up. But anyways, so the night ended. Eventually, like we finished washing his clothes and all that. I bought us some burritos, and then I took him back to the train station, dropped him off. And yeah, that was it. You know, probably never gonna see or hear from him again. Is that gay? Yeah, it is, but it's also, I don't know.